It's gonna look so good. Wow. So good. So I just made a pretty big error. This is our living room, a space we are transforming from a blank white canvas, literally everything was painted white, into a warm, cozy, vintage-inspired living room for our family. We have already stripped layers of white paint off the beams and stained them a rich golden dark brown, calmed the white walls, trim and ceiling by painting them all in a warmer neutral, and started transforming the focal point in this room, the fireplace. After I determined that stripping the paint off the brick would be a lost cause because I didn't really even know what the brick would look like underneath, I thought I could bring life back to the brick by painting a faux brick look. Don't feel like I'm a good enough painter for this. After that fail, I went on a mission to find brick veneers to clad our existing brick with new brick. I did not know the work I was really getting myself into though. After drilling 200 holes in the brick, adding a wire lathe, a scratch coat made of mortar, and finally the brick veneer, we made it here and actually very hopeful that this is going to give us the character and warmth I'm hoping for. We've done so much work on this fireplace already. Now we're ready to grout. And I really wanted to highlight some of the lighter colors in this brick to lighten it up so that it further differentiated it from our floor, because we also have brick floors that have more of a red purple color. So I went with marble beige. It's a tonal color, but it's on the lighter side. So we're still gonna be able to see the defined bricks. I've thought about doing two different types of grouting techniques. One is just a simple, what you see normally with brick, where the grout is kind of like concaved in between each stone. The other is a German schmear, which I did at the cottage on our stone outside, where the grout actually kind of like overlaps on top of the brick and makes it like really messy. And I really like that look, but I think it's a little bit too messy for this look that I want to go with, and I want it to be a little cleaner and more defined. I have a couple of new tools that I'm going to be using. This brick joiner tool that I have never used before. This is a 3/8 and 1/2 inch. To grout this brick, we're actually going to be using a piping bag, like for cakes, but for grout. This is not for cakes, but similar if you've ever decorated a cake before. I actually watched a tutorial on how to do this from the manufacturer of this brick. I've obviously grouted tile before for projects, but this is quite different because I'm using a grout bag, and also you can't really wipe this off very well if you were to use like the sponge technique like you do with tiling. I'm gonna put grout into the bag. I have my foot on the tip of it so it doesn't like come out of the bag. We also cut off the tip a little bit. I'm gonna start on the side for my practice. I never want to start on the front. So he went at a 45-degree angle, pulling it towards him, not away, and started at the top and worked his way down. I feel like his consistency was wetter than mine, or he was stronger at getting it out. And he definitely over grouted it, because when we're gonna come back with that tool, that's how we're gonna make the line perfect. This is definitely a major workout for your hands. I thought even my grout might be too thick, so I mixed it with a bit more water, and then it was way too runny. So I definitely had the right consistency to start. It just takes a lot of stress on your hands from having to squeeze it out of the bag. The key to all of this is timing. You want the grout to still be wet, but dry enough to go over it with the metal joiner tool. So if it's too wet, it'll stick to the tool and the surrounding brick, and if it's too dry, it'll be hard to scrape into the shape that you want it. So I just kept testing it as I went to see when it was really ready. Just using the heel or the tip of the tool to scrape off the excess and then push the grout into all the lines between the brick. I was not perfect at this at all. Some of my spots were drying quicker than others, and I really had to scrape at it, but overall I got it done. Once I had it all scraped, I brushed diagonally to get all of the excess dry bits off the brick, and I worked on the top part first and then moved on to the hearth last and let it dry. I am so in love with how this brick looks. It's so worth all of the time invested into all of the stages that it had to go through just to be perfect and to actually stick really well. And then going with the lighter mortar, it made it contrasting to our floors and made it more complementing instead of it fighting, because they're both really textural, and I knew I was kind of doing that. And I have to say, pretty close to the inspiration and my direction I wanted to go with, but a little more warmth, which I actually am really, really happy about. Throughout this process, it was really difficult to not get mortar or grout on the surface of the bricks, but I started to be really mindful of it and trying to wipe it away as it would get on the surface of the bricks, so I had less cleanup later. So I picked up this sulfamic acid crystals, which dissolves in water. I watched a few tutorials on it, and I'm hoping that it gets off the little bit that I need just to make it extra perfect and have a really good like surface. I can also go back and seal this brick. I did buy the grout that doesn't need to be sealed, but I have plans to seal all of the floors in this space after I do like a deep clean. So I have plans to seal everything together, the floors and the brick fireplace, so that everything is like nice when it's all completely done and I'm done with all of the messy stages of this makeover. Let's talk about the mantle. Now, this mantle has always felt very insignificant to me. It's not very deep, it's not very wide, it's not very tall. So I want to add some beefiness to it. I want to build it out more. That's why I didn't bring the brick all the way up. I have this wider piece of wood that I'm gonna use for the top of our mantle. So I'm gonna essentially be building it up a little bit, building it down a little bit, and out a little bit. I found this really pretty crown molding piece at the hardware store. It had a gorgeous profile. Can you see that? Look at that profile. My idea is to put the crown molding underneath here and miter the corners, obviously, to kind of cap around the existing mantle. That's not enough for me. I want to bring it even further down. That's why I didn't bring this brick up. So I've got another piece, another flat piece, that's gonna bring it down even further. So I'm gonna start designing this out, be something like that. Can you envision it? Mm-hmm. Yeah? So this is the top of the mantle. And I'm gonna basically draw on it so that I can like guide the other pieces and I can figure out my cuts. I need this board 76 1/4 inches wide. I want the decorative crown that's gonna sit underneath this top piece to only recede about 1/4 inch. Kind of draw that line first. It's also gonna go 1/4 inch on the edges as well. So when you're cutting crown molding, if you have a miter saw like this, you can actually put it up like that, how it will sit on the wall. So it's actually like up how you would install it, and cut it that way. That's the easiest way. I've always been dealing with really thick crown molding because I love thick crown molding, and I've never been able to do that. So I have to do like a weird kind of like angle. This I can, so that is much easier. I think the key to doing it like this is actually cutting your crown molding upside down. So I'm actually gonna flip this around. Measure 9 inches. Let's hope that works. Holy cow, I think it did. Ooh-wee. Hey, okay. Now this piece, I need this how wide? Sorry, I look a little orange. We've got Halloween decorations starting to turn on. I'm gonna start assembling the crown molding to the top of the mantle. So I'm gonna put a bead of wood glue. Want this to be strong. I'm gonna use my brad nailer, nail it in. And do the same thing on the pretty corners. Love. So I've been clamping this piece for a few days, trying to get the crown molding to match up perfectly with this top board. So now we need to add the bottom piece because I actually want it longer than this. I want it more dramatic, taller. So I'm gonna measure exactly how wide. I'm gonna do the biggest part first. 70 3/8. Okay, so I got the large front piece cut, and I also sanded it down because I feel like my projects just look so much better when they don't have super sharp edges, when I just round them off a little bit. And so I just hit it with a sander and I just rounded that harsh edge. I just feel like when it's finished, it just looks better and more polished. So I'm gonna put this piece on, the front piece, and I wanna go in and actually put it on the mantle and assess, because I may wanna wrap this mantle in some way around the sides. See how this is looking. It's gonna look so good. Oh, it's gonna look so good. So I just made a pretty big error. Oh, I started with the biggest piece and worked my way smaller and in, and I know better than that. I should have started with my smallest piece, the part that hugged the fireplace perfectly, and then built out from that. And so now that I want to add this other piece, I don't have enough space on the side to actually wrap it around. It's all like too tight. It's like having a cap that's too tight, too small. Okay, I rebuilt it. Same process that I showed you, but I reversed the order that I assembled it in. So I started with the smaller piece on the bottom, and now I've got these two long pieces on each side without a topper. I don't know the measurement. Projects come out so much better when I take things in stages instead of trying to build it all without kind of like dry fitting it. I guess that's what I'm about to do. Oh my goodness, MaCenna. Oh, okay. Yes. Oh, well, I think I got the, do I have it long? Oh. Now we need toppers to go here to make it a full surface all the way around. One of the things I was worried about with this coming all the way to the wall was how it was going to interact with the light switch. This actually looks really good. It cups it so well. So now I cut some 19 by 4 1/4 inch pieces. Perfect. That I'll attach here. And then it'll be a complete surface all the way around, and it finished off this edge so beautifully. We are ready to stain, and I have quite the assortment of testing pieces. I've been attempting to find the right combination of stain for the mantle to match the beams, and they're different woods. Or, I mean, different age. I mean, they're different everything. The beams, I used a Kona stain, and they came out beautifully, and they have like some golden red undertones in them. When I'm trying to use the same stain for this wood, which I believe is pine, it's like common boards, it's not coming out the same. So I've got Kona penetrating stain, I've got Kona gel stain, I've got a mixture of the two. And then I tried the conditioner. This is conditioned, and then this is the Kona penetrating stain, and then this is the Kona gel stain. So this is the closest that I'm going to get it. I think I'm gonna have to go straight to a gel stain. So I've used an oil-based wood conditioner on the entire mantle. When you're staining softwoods, they have a tendency to be kind of splotchy if you don't condition it. So I'm hoping that by adding the conditioner, it does what I need it to do by actually creating a great base, so that when I go back with the darker gel stain, it actually has a really nice finish. I'm gonna try it on this flat part first, because at least that's easier to sand off if this doesn't work out. It's not quite accepting it as well as I'd like. Overall, this took the seam better than I thought it would. This one side was the most difficult, so I went back over it a few times, perfecting some areas, but the top and the other sides look really nice in person. After this cures really well, I'm 100% going to do 3 coats of sealer. I love this polyacrylic sealer. It doesn't yellow over time, so I love to use it on all of my projects. It also comes in different sheens. If you don't seal your projects, they are impossible to clean. Always going back and adding multiple coats of sealer so it has a really durable surface, so it's really easy to clean. I hope you guys enjoyed chapter 2 of making over our living room. Next up, we are tackling the DIY bookshelves. This is a project I've wanted to tackle for our living room for a while now, and I'm so excited to dive in. So follow along for chapter 3.